Hello, welcome to another video for Algebra 1, lesson 112. We're going to be doing graphing and solving system of equations and quadratic equations. So it's pretty easy because we have done linear system of linear equations. Now we're going to actually add a little bit of quadratic equations, and that's pretty much it. So this lesson shouldn't be too long. However, to be able to do it, you need a calculator. So the first part is going to be the first example. I'm literally going to do it in the calculator, and I'm going to start a little bit different than I usually do. I'm going to start example 2. Then example 1, you should be able to do it by, I already showed you how to do it in example 2. Because the graphing part, I hope by now you guys know how to graph a quadratic function and a linear function. So what I'm most interested about is you understanding how to find the answers and the type of answers there are. So I might not go straight away into the calculator. I'm going to show you the different ways that we can get answers for that and what the solutions would be. And then I go into the calculator. And then in the third example is going to be by elimination, I believe. Substitution, sorry. So solving a system of linear and quadratic functions through substitution, which shouldn't be too hard either. So I'm going to start with that, and yeah, let's get into it. And after today, we only have 8 more lessons to go. Yay, everybody's excited. You guys have no idea how excited I am, because then I would have to stop recording videos. Videos that take me time and not even 50% of the class watches. So yeah, it's going to be a huge relief for me. But again, just because other people don't do it, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be irresponsible and stop doing what I'm supposed to be doing. That's why I get so mad when people give me the excuses. I didn't do my homework, or I didn't check Google Classroom because I forgot about it, because I was with my mom, because I was doing this, no, there's no excuse. You're at home, you're doing the same thing that I'm doing. No, actually, I'm doing a lot more than you're doing. So if I'm working a lot harder than you, I'm not going to cut you any slack, because you have it way easier than I do. So yeah, I mean, I've seen some of the other workload that you have on other classes, like for example in science, there's no follow through. Pastor Pratt doesn't follow through on anything except for the test. But yeah, he's very lenient also how you take the test and everything. So yeah, I'm not going to go into it. So yeah, let's actually just get into the lesson. Okay, so before we get into the lesson itself, I have to explain the meaning of it all right? So what happens is that when we have a system of a linear and a quadratic equation together, what happens is that we can have 3 different outcomes. The first one is that we can have 2 answers, right? Meaning that this is where it intersects. So we can have 2 solutions. Just like in here, the parabola goes one way and the line crosses it twice. We can have one solution where it barely it touches it only once. And we can have the other example in which the line and the parabola don't even touch each other. So no solution. This is important because we need to understand that this is exactly what happened with the system of equations. When we had a system of 2 linear equations, we understood it could have one answer, it could have no answers, or it could have infinitely many solutions because it turned out to be the same line. So this is how you need to know. It could have 2 solutions, it could have one solution, it could have no solution. So that's what you need to be understanding. What we're looking for are points. Solution mean points, okay? So you could have 2 points where they intersect. You could have 1 point where it intersects. It could have no points, so it doesn't have a solution. So that's what we're talking about. Now let's actually get into the lesson, into what we're going to be doing. So as I said, we're going to actually start with example number 2. And example number 2 has y equals x squared over 2 minus 3. So that's one of the, that's obviously the quadratic function, x squared over 2 minus 3. And we have x minus 3 as our linear equation, right? Then we put them in the calculator like this. Yeah, I know that the first one doesn't look like it's a fraction, but don't worry about it. That's neither here nor there. But that you can actually put it like that. It would still have the right answer. And we can actually check because the book over here has the solution. Like this is going to be the solution for how to do it. And so we're going to graph it. And if you see, pretty much like the book says. Now what happens is that we have two intersections, because I don't know if you can actually see over here there's one, and over here it's the other one. So he has two intersections. So we have to find it. How? Again, we're going to put second trace. We go and go to intersect, where the lines intersect. And they're going to ask us, okay, where is the first curve? So this is the first curve. Where's the second curve? This is the second curve. And we put enter, and it literally told us the intersection that is closest to it, right? So the intersection I got is 3, and negative 3. 3, negative 3. Your book got 0, negative 3. Huh. Let me check. Maybe my fraction's being read the wrong way. Yeah, my fraction was read the wrong way. Now I can tell it's actually right. So yeah, be careful. If you do it the method I did, you have to put parentheses in the fraction. If not, you can actually do it like your calculator tells you how to do it, and I know most of you know how to do it. So now you grab, you go to second trace, you go to intersect. So you intersect it, and then first curve, the blue one, the second curve, the red one, make sure you're there. You press enter, it's going to be, I don't know, it's saying that x equals that. X should be 0. It obviously intersects it. X equals 0. Trying to figure it out. Could it say that the intersection is at negative 4? It makes no sense. Well, another way to do it is also with the graph. If you ever get like really weird answers, just go to your graph. Your graph will tell you the answer right there. 0, negative 3, negative 3 for both of them. And then let's try to get the intersect for the second part, the second point. Let's see if it actually works this time for the higher up point. I think it may be because it's close to the y equals 0. That one did work, you see. It's because of the 0. The 0 kind of like messes up with some calculators. So over here we did get 2, negative 1, as you can see, 2, negative 1. And the answer over here is 2, negative 1. So it's pretty easy. You don't really have to check or anything. I mean, it's already in the book. So that's why I didn't want to do the first example, because if you can do it in the calculator, then what's the point of me showing you how to graph? Because I hope that everybody knows how to graph by now. But let's actually move to example 3, in which we actually have to go back to the board and do it by substitution, which shouldn't be too hard because you guys already should know how to do it. All right, example number 3 then. This one shouldn't be very hard because we already understand, right? So we have y equals 5x plus 3 and y equals x squared plus 5x minus 1. I know I might have read it in different order, but it's the same thing anyway, because both of them are y equal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute this for this y, since it's also equal to y. So I'm going to rewrite it, and it's going to say 5x plus 3 equals x squared plus 5x minus 1. I think the book has it backward, but it shouldn't matter. It is the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 5x on both sides and I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides. I'm going to only do this for this example, not for the next one. You guys should know what I'm doing when I'm telling you how to do. So here would be the same thing as x squared minus 4. Oh, look at that. X squared minus 4 is the same thing as x plus 2, x minus 2. So this is going to be x equals negative 2 and x equals 2. So I got two answers, x equals negative 2 and x equals 2. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find two different y's. And the way to do it is by obviously putting this in the different points. So I'm going to use the second equation, the linear one, to put, like, for example, 2. So when x is 2, y would be equal to 5 times 2 plus 3. Y equals 13. Okay? And then when x equals negative 2, y equals 5 times negative 2 plus 3, which is going to be y equals negative 10 plus 3, which is going to be y equals negative 7. So I have 2 points. I have 2, 13, and negative 2, 7. How do you check? You can check by graphing. It's the easiest way to do it, and the way I would do it is by graphing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to graph x squared plus 5x minus 1. By the way, you can check by graphing, but you have to do the math by hand anyway if I ask you to do it on a test. Because obviously, if you don't, I know you actually use graphing, and that would not be what I'm looking for, and so I'm going to take points off. But again, if you watch the videos and are getting the bonus points, shouldn't matter that much. So, when 2 happens here, I'm going to show you right now. I just went to the table. 2 is 13 for both. As you can see, 2 is 13 for both. Pretty easy. And if I go up in the table to negative 2, I got negative 7 and negative 7. Oh, okay. I checked. It's right. Let's move on. Okay, and then the last example in this lesson that I'm going to go over. By the way, I'm not going to check it since I already told you how to do it in the previous problem. I already showed you how to do it with your calculator. Hopefully you know how to do it. So what we're going to do is the same thing. We're going to, because it says y and y, we're just going to put this right here. And so it will be 2x minus 3 equals x squared plus 7x plus 3. So 2x, well, if I subtract from both sides, it's going to be subtract 2x from both sides and add 3 to both sides. So it would be 0 equals x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay? To get 6, I use 3 times 2 because it's positive and positive, so it's going to be x plus 3. X plus 2 is going to be x equals negative 3. X equals negative 2. And we're going to use that again in this equation. It's just so much easier to deal with linear than quadratic. So yeah, don't use quadratic when you're doing this. You're going to get super confused. So y equals 2 times negative 3 minus 3. Y equals negative 6 minus 3. Y equals negative 9. Then we have x equals negative 2. Y equals 2 times negative 2 minus 3. Y equals negative 4 minus 3. Y equals negative 7. So I get 2 points, and my 2 points are negative 3, negative 9, and -2, -7. Bam. And I got my points for the system of equations. These are my answers, and that's it. So, yeah, 8 more lessons to go. Really looking forward to the day I don't have to make any more videos. I'll see you in the next one.